What's good, Toxic Regime? ToxicSightGaming back here once again with another video. This is the first video of 37, which in these videos we're going to be covering each individual champion one after another. But we're going to do it based on roles. So starting off, we are going to do Frontlines, due to the fact that I was requested not to start with supports, which I was originally going to do, but we're going to start with the front lines because I know that's second best, due to the fact that my second, third, and fourth main, or original mains, second, third, and fourth original mains are tanks. So we're going to go, and in this series we're only going to be talking about their talents, their skills, and decent to good loadouts for them. And we're going to do it in shooting range. We are going to start with we are actually going to start at the bottom and work our way back. So the first tank we come to is actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to start with Torvald. I'm going to go ahead and knock my old mains out first. No, not return to lobby. Change champion. We're going to start with my old mains. We're going to start with Ruckus. So Ruckus will be done. His four abilities are aerial assault, advanced gains a third charge, standing still causes Ruckus to jet upwards. Flux generator increases emitter's shield health by 1250. Overdrive, dealing up to 40% more damage based on your missing health. And rocket barrage, you may hold up to 3 charges for missile launcher. Now, while area assault might sound good since you have 3 of your movement charges, and if you stand still you go straight up missing straight fire, while that does sound good, it is not one of his primaries. Overdrive, dealing 40% more damage based on your missing health. While that sounds good that it does extra bonus damage based on your missing health, it is not good because it is only good if you're losing health. Which, yes, you are a tank, you'd be losing health either way. And this is a shooting game, so you're going to be losing health either way. You're not always going to be looking at whoever's doing the damage to you for you to do that extra damage to you. So therefore, in my opinion, now hold on, before we continue, all these builds and all these abilities and if they're viable or not is my honest opinion. I am not a pro. I do not consider myself anywhere near as good as a pro, but I do pay attention to the game, and these are my honest opinions on what abilities and loadouts are viable and competitive. So Rocket Barrage and Flux Generator are the 2 Ruckus abilities that I think are viable in comps. Rocket Barrage is by far my favorite. We are not going to go to loadouts, so I'm just going to load the default one. Ruckus's abilities. His standard fire, left click is miniguns that deal 40 damage per shot over 0.04 seconds. Once fully spun up. Maintain fire to continuously speed up the rate of fire effective at medium range. His right click is the missile launcher, which if you went rocket barrage you have 3 charges to it. which do 250 damage in a large area. So you could do 500 damage to one person, or 500 damage to 3 people if they were all in that area. Your emitter creates an energy shield around yourself for 3.5 seconds, absorbing 2500 damage. Which, like I said, if you had Flux Generator, it increases it by 1250, which makes that really 1375. His F ability, quickly jet in the direction you are moving. You have 2 charges. His ultimate reveals 2 additional miniguns that deal 120 damage every 0.04 seconds, and 2 rocket launches that deal 250 damage every quarter of a second. Your movement speed is reduced during Hexfire, but you gain 10% damage reduction. Okay, now we're going to test these out. Even though y'all should pretty much have an understanding of what they do. I'm going to come over here to these guys. His left click. His F, there I'm moving backwards, there I'm moving forwards. His rockets. Why did I only do... I am on Rocket Barrage, aren't I? Oh yeah, you have to do them in succession.
A dub, dude. Okay, now you're rolling.
And then his emitter just gives him a shield that's on a timer. And then his ult. Now we're gonna return to lobby. My loadout that I have on him right now isn't the best anymore because of his reduced health. So we're gonna go into champions, go into Ruckus, loadouts. For the rocket barrage, or for the, is it rocket barrage? For the 3 rocket launcher, reduce the cooldown at max. I run 3 on the heal. I run 2 on the damage reduction. I run 4 on the dampener, the gain health. And I either do one of 2 things. I either do the increased advance distance, or where is it? Oh, or the air cooled, the activating advance heals you for 80. Now if you did this one, I would say you could do like that, or you could do that. So we're gonna actually rename but like I said earlier, this is just, oh crap it. Like I said, this is just my personal opinion on builds. I would run that with Rocket Barrage, or if you're running the emitter, heals for 250 a second. Not that one. Reduce the cooldown of emitter by 3. Increase the duration by 4. Increase health 2. and advanced. Now, why I choose these cards is every build that you're specializing in one of your talents, in one of your abilities, you want that cooldown on that ability as low as possible. I mean, yes, I could have changed this to elimination. Oh, that's reload speed. Never mind, he doesn't have it. But you always want, not always, with him, since he's a tank and he's really a heavy targeted tank, you want to increase his HP. You want to give him ways he can self-heal by advancing, by activating missile launcher, by damage reduction so that you stay alive, because that even though 3% is not a lot, that 3% could give your healer enough time to start healing you. And then, like I said, you want to reduce the cooldown of your main skill. Emitter, reduce the cooldown. Healing yourself, more health, healing yourself, increase the duration of it. If there's any time that it's a duration ability that you're working around, the duration of it is important. Now we're gonna go back in to shooting range real quick. I'm gonna show you what items are decent / good or needed for Ruckus, in my opinion, to be viable in comps, or what you should buy in comps.
We will fight. We will die. We will respawn.
Now remember, these two are the ones you buy. I always prefer Rocket Barrage unless there's a lot of heavy hitter, or a lot of heavy but slow hitters like Term, Ash, people like that. Since you are a tank, you're going to want to get Rejuve 3. You are a fast DPSer, and yes, you are a tank, but Ruckus does have some of the highest damage of the tanks. So, like I was saying in the video earlier, unless you have 2 or more of those 5 front lines on your opposing team that Wrecker affects, Ruckus always goes caught. If anybody tells you as a Ruckus to go Bulldozer for 2 out of those 3 or all 3 of those bulldozing champions that I explained yesterday, Ruckus shoots too much and he's a spread. He can spread his shots out faster than most other champions can. He does not get Bulldozer. Bulldozer is mainly for those people that focus in a single area with single shots or AoE shots. Ruckus is an excellent cot spreader. Now the yellow one is completely up to you, but in my honest opinion, morale boost to get his ult faster is great, because his ult, if he's not shot at during it and your healer's not healing you during it, is a really devastating ult if your opponents can't get to cover. Chronos helps out a decent, I'm not saying fair is a good thing or decent as a good, a decent amount. It doesn't really impact him a whole lot. Master Riding, he is a tank. He's not the beefiest of tanks anymore, but he is a tank. Master Riding could be beneficial. Nimble is beneficial, like I was saying earlier, with 90% of the champions, because the movement speed is key. I would recommend either morale boost or nimble on Ruckus. Now, if you're in a 2-tank game and your second tank is more of plays flank, like Nando can play flank. I've seen Terminus flank. I've seen Makoa flank. I've seen. And basically, that's all the tanks that really have decent ability to flank. But if you're needing to get to the point, like if you've got a secondary tank, not one of the primary tanks, but if you've got one of the off tanks, and I'll explain who all an off tank is as the front lines go. Master Riding might be better than these. But if you're both playing tank and you're both playing a primary tank, which Ruckus is to me Ruckus is considered a primary tank, not an off tank. These two, I personally would go morale boost. And now, no, you do not have to go all the way down to 3. You do not have to go morale 3 and then go to the next yada yada yada. Just go morale 1, morale 2, and then move on, or start with rejuve, or start with caught. Now with Ruckus, now we're on to the defense. Ruckus should never worry about getting illuminate, because Ruckus's main job is the point, the payload, and pushing. I'll say that again slowly. Ruckus as a tank, his main job is the point, is the capture point, the payload, and pushing. Yes, you'll see games that once the cap is secured and your team has it, the tanks will move forward and the healer stays on the point. But as a tank, once one person of the opposing team passes y'all, passes the forward moving team, as a tank, they need to get back to that point. Because if one person passes you, who knows? The second one might end up passing y'all. The third one, the whole team might pass y'all. Your healer's left alone. Your healer cannot go 1v1 against most damages or most tanks. Technical issues aside, back to what I was talking about. Since you're a tank and your main job is capture point, payload, push. Point, payload, push. 3 P's. Illuminate will not benefit you. These 3 will. Blast shields if there's more AoE that's targeting you, not targeting the team or on the opposing team. Decide your defensive card based on which you as the player, as an individual player, yes, you're on a team and it'll all benefit the team. But for the defensive card, pick what is targeting you and damaging you the most. If you're getting AoE'd the most, pick Blast Shield. If you're getting direct damage the most, pick Haven. If you're getting crowd controlled, pick Resilience. This and Utility are the main ones that are match dependent. The healing, like I said, veteran is never a viable choice. Rejuve on a tank is the most important healing card for tanks or frontlines, however you want to look at their role. Cauterize, like I said, unless there's 3 or 2 of those 5 shielding tanks, and you're one of them as Ruckus, so really they only have 2 or 4 to pick from to get. Cauterize is pretty much, unless, like I said, unless there's 2 of those 4, one person on the team needs Wrecker, and I personally would recommend it be one of the damagers. Or the damager. The flank should get caught, because they're going behind, taking out the healer and working their way up. But, Wrecker should really be the damage player. Not always, but caught for Ruckus is almost a given due to the simple fact that he shoots and can spread his shots around. Because Cauterize just says weapon shots reduce the effective healing. That doesn't mean you have to continuously to focus on them. Once one shot hits, that 1.5 seconds starts to tick. And if you shoot, like, let's bring it back in here. He's got caught. He's got caught. He's got caught back. Ruckus can spread his shots around to do damage within that 1.5 seconds. Now another thing, I'm going to say it now and I'll say it again later. And I'll probably say this thing now that I'm actually talking about the purchasing of cards for champions. I should have said this in the video about what cards out of these item shops are comp viable and everything in the previous video. But I'll say that I'll make notes. I made a note. Okay. Do not, and I'll repeat this even slower, do not. Well, hold on. I'm gonna change champions. Even though this doesn't matter. Change champions. Since we're talking about Ruckus, I'll go back to him. Just so you see his cool guns in the background. But do not. Okay, you're going to start the match off in your spawn location. You pick your rocket barrage. You pick your loadout for rocket barrage. You're sitting here. You're pressing tab to look at the opposing teams, what they pick. Yada, yada, yada. You come in here to buy. Do not. Oh, I'm going to start off with caught 1. Okay. Go to the mission. Well, actually, this one will make more sense. Go to the payload.
They got the first frag.
Oh, you died. Okay, respawn. Okay, now I'm going to buy my second item. Do not ever do this. Caught 1. Rejuve 1. Oh, I've got 300 more points. Morale boost. You just rainbow bot. Do not rainbow buy. This makes it even worse. If you have 1, 1, 1, and 1, that's the worst way to start comps out. And it didn't reset it. Damn it. What you want to do
Okay, real talk. I'm gonna stop that guy.
is no one cares. Okay, what you want to do is, like I said in the previous video, 90% of the time your first purchase will always be your red card. Cauterize is more important at the start of the game to get that first capture and to put pressure on the opposing team more than morale boost will do, more than rejuve will do, more than nimble, more than haven or resilience. Yes, I know I just contradicted myself because while I play Drogos, I go nimble first, and then I go my red, and then I go everywhere else. But to me, Drogos falls in that 10% that's different. But anyways, so you get caught 1, you go do your stuff, you finally die, you finally push and get to the second point. You come back, you get caught 2. You go out, yada 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 yada, depending on how you're cauterizing, how your team's cauterizing play is going. If you need more anti-heal, you go caught 3. Really? Hold on.
Bringing out the big guns.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, then you decide if you need COT 3, and if you don't need COT 3, then you can go. Tanks should always move from their red card to their rejuve. Some tanks will buy their rejuve first, and there's nothing wrong with that, unless not enough people bought into COT, or if there's a Leon that has death and taxes. And you want to buy into your rejuve. Get rejuve 2, possibly even rejuve 3 is a lifesaver. That 30% more healing, well, it gets counted out. It negates COT 1. And then COT 2, well, it negates half of COT 2, so you're really only being affected by COT 1 for their base healing.
Don't just jam it in there, Ruckus.
And then after you get rejuve 3,
Savages, fragging new and winning. A dub, dude.
Bringing out the big guns.
Annihilation.
and then you want to move onto your blue. Most of the time, whenever I play tanks, I personally get my yellow cards last. Get your blue and red primarily. Move on to your blue to defend yourself more, and then move on to your yellow. That's just how I play tanks. How do I want to do that? Well, y'all, there's my walkthrough, or my little quick video on Ruckus. Like I said, Rocket Barrage, Flex Generator, in my opinion, are the best two. These are my two loadouts. You can import my loadouts by going to create new loadout, import, search by name or friends if we're friends on Paladins, and type in ToxicSight and import my two loadouts. In the next video, we will be going over... Who is the next? We will be going over... We'll go over Nando next, because I said I was going to go over my 3 old mains in Frontlines, which is Ruckus, Nando, and Barrack first, and then we'll go in alphabetical order and hit the rest of them. So until next time, keep it real, be good to yourself, be good to your loved ones, and I will see you later.